All right, here we go. I'm here, hello everybody, I'm here to announce that we are doing the world's first Space Bubble concert.
Since this recording, more Space Bubble shows are being added. Thursday, the 10th of December, and possibly the 15th and 16th of January 2021 so far. Thank you.
It's at long last, it's going to be on December 11th. It's going to be at the Criterion Theater in Bricktown. That's in downtown Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, USA. So, there are some questions. So here we go.
How long can a person stay in the space bubble before it runs out of oxygen?
Well, that's a good question. So we've done quite a few test runs where we have one and where we have two and we have up to 3 humans inside of the space bubble for over an hour. And so there's plenty of air in there. I myself have been in one of these space bubbles walking in a parade in downtown Oklahoma City for over 45 minutes at one time. So there's plenty of air in there. There's plenty of air for one person, there's plenty of air for 2 people, and if you end up with 3 people in your space bubble, there's plenty of air for all 3 of you. Plus, we would, during our 75-minute set, that's what we plan on doing, and if we're able to go longer than the 75 minutes, we would. But during the 75-minute set, we feel like we would refresh the space bubble with air, because I think sometimes the air can get some condensation in it, and it might get hot in there, and we would have our helper monitors. They'll look like this. That's where you show the guy. He looks like that. And they will be out in the audience with you, helping you if you need to use the bathroom or to do this refresh that we talked about. So, second question.
What if you have to use the restroom?
Second question is, that's a good question. What if you have to pee or use the bathroom? Well, we think it's entirely possible and very easy that you would just give our monitor helpers a signal that you need to get out. The space bubbles all zip from the inside, and it's very easy to get in and out of them. It really only takes a few seconds. So you could easily get out and start to go to the bathroom, but we're going to restrict it so not 20 people are going at one time, but I don't think that would ever happen. In the previous times that we've tried this, actually nobody had to go to the bathroom, and maybe they were holding it the whole time. But so during our set, we feel like if you need to use the bathroom, you'll simply get out, and it could be one of you, maybe it's 2 of you, but we would for sure restrict a crowd not being able to go to the bathroom all at one time. And then you'd come back as quick as you can, and we'd fill it back up. Anytime you would get out of the space bubble, you'd put your mask back on, even if it's just to go to the bathroom, and then you'd come right back. So that's a good question.
How do you get into the arena? Is it social distanced safe?
That's a good question. And so maybe you've seen that we've done these other things that look like concerts. Now, they're very much exactly like a concert, only they weren't actual concerts. We were shooting music videos, so the performance part of it was different. But the way that we're getting people into the arena and in and out of the venue, that part of it is stayed the same. So you will show up, and having bought your ticket, there's one person will buy the ticket, and you're allowed to have 2 people or 3 people. So if you're standing there in line by yourself, or 2 of you or 3 of you, 3 of you would occupy this space. That would be row 1, bubble number 1. These lines would be outside the venue. And as we would get closer to the show time, you would be required to get into your line, and we'd make sure everybody is there in the line, 6 feet apart with masks, so that when we're ready, we can call you as quick as we can to go from outside inside into the space bubbles. The last time that we did this, it took, I think, only about 21 minutes for everybody to be outside and everybody to be inside in their space bubbles. So I think we can do it, and I think we can do it safely. But again, every bit of this we're doing with caution, and we're doing it with masks on. So good question.
Can I get a drink once I'm inside the space bubble?
Well, we don't know. I mean, we've provided some water. We're at the time that I'm making this, we feel like we'd supply a couple of bottles of water and a towel for wiping down the space bubble on the inside. And beyond that, we don't really know what the mechanism of, would people at the bar, would they bring you a drink, and how we would communicate that. But I don't know. So you certainly won't go thirsty. I mean, there'll be something for you to drink, but I don't know if you'll be able to get your favorite mixed drink immediately. But let's see. That's a good question.
Is it like a normal Flaming Lips show?
Is it like a normal show? It is not like a normal show at all. We are going to great lengths to make sure that the main thing that happens at a normal show doesn't happen here. And what I mean is, a normal show is lots of people very excited, screaming at each other, sweating on each other, sometimes hugging each other in each other's faces. Sometimes this is people that know each other, sometimes these are strangers. And I think when we think of a really crazy, out of control, joyous rock show, that part of it, we're saying can only happen because you're in this protected bubble. Now, being in the bubble, you can get as excited as you want, scream as much as you want. You can bump into the other bubbles as much as you want, but it's only because you're in the space bubble. So we still want you to get excited. We still want you to scream. We still want you to sweat. We still want you to have everything that a normal concert has. You just have to do it inside of this bubble that will be waiting for you. So our show that we think we're going to try to do at least 75 minutes. And periodically during the show, we'll make sure everybody is doing okay. And if we can go longer, we will go longer. I don't know if we'd go 2 hours, but we'll try. I don't know exactly how everybody will feel, but we're scheduled at the moment to do about 75, 80 minutes. And let's hope that all that works out, and we can expand it to a more, maybe it's more like 90 minutes when we're actually there. But that's what we have planned for right now.
How are the space bubbles cleaned after the show?
This is a great question, and this is one I'm glad to answer. So how are the space bubbles cleaned after the show? So we've only done this a couple of times, so we've only had to clean them a couple of times, but there is this brand new machine. This brand new machine. Here's a picture of it. It's I don't know the actual name of it, but we're calling it the COVID sanitizing fogger. So the way that we're going to do it, after the concert, perhaps later that night or the next day, we would inflate the bubble that you had been in. It gets inflated, and then we get this fogging machine, and it really only requires that you spray it in there for about 10 seconds, and it coats the inside of that space bubble, and then we let that sit. The CDC guidelines are to let that sit for at least 10 minutes, and we would probably let it sit for a little longer, maybe a half hour, or maybe even an hour.
What happens if there's an emergency?
What happens if there is an emergency? Well, I think we would say that regardless of what the emergency is, the typical response that would be at any show, anywhere in the world, anytime you're in a theater like this, those would always be in place. There's exit signs, and all that's already clearly marked. But you're going to be in this space bubble. But this space bubble has a zipper that you control from the inside, and you can get in and out of it, especially getting out. Getting in it, you have to be inflated, but to get out, you simply unzip and you can get out of it in just a few seconds. And so we don't think that there'll be an emergency, but of course we're always ready for that. But also at the end of the show, you know, we don't have everybody just jump out of the space bubbles all at the same time, letting this air all out. We do it row by row. And again, it doesn't take very long. And these zippers open really quickly. And so we would let the last row get out, and they would get out, and then we get the ninth row out, and then we get the eighth row out. And all that is why it's different from a normal show. You know, there is a lot of restrictions of what we can do. But I think it will all, I think it's all worth it. I think it's all in the being safe, and it's all taking care of each other. And I think it'll be a great, unique, fun experience. Is that all the questions?
It is.
All right.
I did like this part we have in the notes here about it's only a few hundred people in a large venue that can.
There you go. Yeah, and also, you know, it's a large venue that's used to holding, maybe sometimes is up to 4,000 people. And this at most will be only 200 or 300 people. So there's a lot of space. It's not a lot of space when everybody's in a bubble, but it's not a lot of people to be in this venue that's used to holding a lot of people. So that part of it, we're not worried about it at all, but we also know that, you know, if anything was to happen, you can get out of there very quickly, and then it's just normal procedure, no matter what the emergency would be.
Oh, I love it. How can I get tickets?
Tickets are available at www.com, CriterionOKC.com. I think I said that right.
It's www.com.
Oh, www.CriterionOKC.com, right?
www.criteria.
Oh, okay, www.CriterionOKC.com. Well, I'll try that as soon as we get done here, make sure it works.